It's time for Ladies Can We Talk?
You know, I always try in this first segment to do a Speak Up for America segment, just a little segment to talk about one of the many building blocks of America. And I do this because this radio show, Ladies Can We Talk, and my book, and all the talks I do around the country, they're always centered on the idea that every generation in America has the moral obligation to stand up and speak up and preserve America's greatness for the next generation. And right now in America, many, many things are off track. Polls will tell you that even liberals and certainly conservatives will say, majorities will say that America's off track. So part of what I do and I talk about in the show is try to encourage people to think through what it is that makes America exceptional, so we hold on to it, so we preserve it. And you may have heard in the introduction just a moment ago, the introduction to the show talks about that liberty is under assault. And I get asked, in fact, I spoke over the weekend in at a women's club, Republican women's club, and someone asked about the liberty idea and, how is it, what examples I gave about losing liberty. And I think it's important to focus on them. That's what I want to talk about in this segment today is why I and many conservatives, many Republicans, many Tea Party activists, many just common sense Americans, mainstream Americans, are concerned that in America we are losing liberty. And so I'm just going to tell you some of the basic ideas. And I'm going to run through examples very quickly. And these are ideas we've talked about in other shows, but really they all tie into this bigger picture of losing liberty. And one last preliminary thing. America is unique in part because it was founded by people who said, we want to form a country that the people have the power. The people choose government. The people have rights, and they choose government, and that government they can change through elections. So it took the whole concept of America was taking power out of the government, power out of the hands of the elected or appointed elites, and putting the power in the hands of the people. And they did that through a variety of ways. And why I think so many Americans are concerned now is because it feels like the people don't have a voice. Government isn't listening to them. Government isn't responding. Even after elections give major league majorities to the conservative Republican side, things don't change. Many things seem like the ruling class has kind of decided we run this country and we don't really listen to the people. I'm going to run through some quick examples of why I say we are losing liberty in America. And these are important ideas. I urge you might want to write them down and think about them when you listen to the candidates running for president of the United States. They want to lead this country starting in January 2017. They want to lead this country. Hear from them whether they are people who will stand for, who believe in American-style liberty, who believe in limited government, who believe in the whole system that was created. Because the system that was created in America way back in the 1700s is the reason America is prosperous, strong, free, abundant. It's the reason for America's greatness. If we lose the ideas, America will lose some of her greatness. So here's my quick list for this week on what examples of losing liberty. One is this most basic idea. We had a guest on the show last week, Tom Giovanetti, who talked about the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, taking over the Internet. The false pretext, was a need the FCC claimed to have to establish net neutrality. The simple fact is, the Internet is the number one way for free speech in America to occur. It's unfiltered free speech. Anybody can put up a website, anybody can put up a YouTube channel, anyone can talk, and people talk to each other on the Internet. It is our primary means of free speech in America. And the FCC took over control of the Internet under this administration. I think it actually went into effect in April. And the potential for mischief, the potential for people who want to control Americans, who want to control communication, who want to filter communication, who want to shut down their political opponents, the potential is massive. So, FCC takeover of the Internet is a crushing of First Amendment liberty. we had, as we've all been talking about for years now, unfortunately, the federal government took over the healthcare system. The healthcare, whether they call it Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, was a federal government takeover of the healthcare system. And the healthcare system in America was the best system on earth. It was a system that people who had the wherewithal from anywhere around the world, when they had a serious problem, they needed serious good care, they came to America. And healthcare system was taken over by people in Washington, the far left running the Democrat Party today, who believe in socialized, government-controlled medicine. It does not matter whether they try to parse words and say it's not really socialized medicine. It's government-controlled health care. It is a loss of liberty. The liberty, the free market system, the entrepreneurial system in America contributed to the greatness of the healthcare system. It inspired people who were potential researchers who could find new cures, doctors who could find new treatments, doctors who could extend care to the poorest among us, to the wealthiest among us. Doctors are turning away from the healthcare system. They're retiring early. They're cutting down the number of patients they'll take. Fewer people are going to medical school. It's because of a loss of liberty. The Obamacare or Affordable Care Act was a crushing of the liberty of the free market system, crushing of our healthcare system. The immigration system in America is another liberty issue. We used to have a set of laws. They weren't perfect, but a set of laws where we controlled who came here. We knew who came here. We had a system to become a citizen. What's happened now in the immigration system, we had President Obama simply decide that he was going to, through executive orders, change the immigration system, change the rules, change the laws. And I want to make sure I make this a really important point. Part of liberty is that the people choose their government. We elect members of Congress, members of the Senate, and the president. And the members of Congress and the Senate, they make the laws. And that's how we can change. We, the people, can change things. If we don't like the laws they pass, we can elect new people. When the president says, I'm going to ignore the people you put into power. I can't get Congress to give me the powers I want. I can't make them pass the laws I want. So I'm just going to pass laws anyway, which is what he does with executive orders. This is a loss of liberty. It's a loss of the power that's supposed to be vested in the people, because it's vested now in a president who ignores the Congress and ignores the people. The immigration system and the executive orders that are changing the immigration system, ignoring your elected officials, they're a loss to your liberty. A whole nother very large arena of loss of liberty in America has to do with the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. That agency is regulating and expanding regulation and control over the energy sector in America in an unprecedented fashion. I don't have time to go into the details in the summary tonight, but the EPA, the taking over and crushing of the coal industry of America, the expansion of regulations into groundwater, water on your own property, and countless other examples. These are not just policy decisions that are maybe good, maybe bad. These are people who believe in government-controlled society, who don't think you, the citizen, the individual, should have a say in whether they take over the control of your property, your land. And the entire environmental movement really does not have its roots in protecting the environment. It has its roots in empowering people in Washington to redistribute wealth, to control you, to control and crush the advancement of American prosperity and the energy sector. It's a liberty problem. Another arena in which liberty is under assault in America has to do with freedom of religion. You may have seen cases over the last weeks and months. There are literally dozens, and maybe we're into hundreds of cases where Christians are being told, you own a bakery and you bake wedding cakes, but if you won't bake a wedding cake for a same-sex marriage, even though that violates your Christian faith, will shut you down, will punish you, will take away your business, will fine you in such exorbitant amount that you cannot stay in business. This is a crushing of a basic liberty in America, religious freedom. We are letting the courts, we're trying to let them, the courts are deciding with the American left pushing it to say that religious liberty doesn't matter in America anymore. And I want to contrast that with something. Over the last several weeks, you may have, months rather, even years, you may have read about, at taxpayer expense, foot baths for Americans who are Muslim are being put into universities, in schools, in airports, we're bending over backward to accommodate a unique demand of one tiny segment of the American population, which are members of the Muslim faith who practice Islam. We put in at taxpayer expense foot baths, which their religion requires so that their feet be clean before they go into their 5 prayers a day practice. But Christians who want to just say, I just want to be in business. I'm not trying to stop your gay wedding. I just want to be in business. They're being told no. And so this is a fundamental denial of religious freedom in America. And it is just an egregious time in America when you think especially about the fact that America was founded on religious freedom. It's the reason America exists. So I could go through many more things listing out, but this is my Speak Up for America segment in this show. I try at the start of every show to explain more and more about what's so important, what's happening in America today is so important to the future of liberty, to the future of America, to the strength of America. Because if we lose these liberties, we do lose part of America. We lose the greatness. We lose the potential for its future. We lose opportunity. Another whole area I didn't even go into was the Dodd-Frank bill, control over the banking system. We have a massive trend towards socialism in America, which is just the evisceration of the free market system. We have an actual Democrat candidate for president who admits he's a socialist, unlike the other Democrat candidate for president who doesn't admit it, and she's just as socialist. These are all crushing of basic pieces of America's greatness. So, in closing this Speak Up for America segment, I urge you to look at the issues facing America, not just as, there's one way to look at it and another way. Someone's got X opinion, someone's got Y. Look at the issues facing America from the larger picture of, are we preserving American-style liberty? Because right now, folks, we're not. It was being surrendered in part because we have a very far left Democrat Party that is crushing liberty in America on dozens of fronts all at the same time. And frankly, we have some leaders in the Republican or conservative side who aren't up for the fight. And we need to all be up for the fight. Well, this is Debbie Georgatos. This Ladies Can We Talk on 660 AM The Answer. We're going to zip off to our first break. And when we come back, we're going to have our interview with Brigitte Gabriel and talk to her a little bit about her activity on behalf of America. So please come on back after the break. This is Debbie Georgatos and Ladies Can We Talk on 660 AM The Answer.